What has been the most pain in the butt random thing that's come up while you're fixing a car? I remember for my Mazda Miata, we had this one thing where we put a whole new sound system in the car. Super nice. We spent half the value of the car just on the sound system alone.
Right.
And I remember we wired the whole thing. We took days and days on this whole thing. I had no idea what I was doing, so it took a long time, and I had the help of my roommate, which is very nice. But I remember we wired everything. It was good. We tried to listen to the system and it wasn't working. 5 hours later, we learned, because it's an SE, a 2000 SE.
Yeah.
That one has a hidden amp that's under the center console.
Oh, yeah.
Way down there.
Yeah.
And all of the wires were being routed through that.
Yeah.
And that made it so everything else, but no one's working on a 2000 SE. It's just like the normal Miata.
Yes.
So no one was talking about it. And then finally, after going deep dives on the forums, you learn there's a hidden amplifier that basically made all of our wiring useless unless if we completely bypassed that amp. So what has been like some random thing that just gave you a headache for a long time?
So the thing that happens when you deal with cars like this is that there's not really any forums that you can go to that have any solutions for you. So let's say if you're working on a P1, we didn't know how to take the clamshell off, and it's not like there's documentation on how to do that. So we're trying to find all these bolts. And all these bolts, they're well hidden because you don't want to see bolts on a car that's $1.5 million. So we're like prying on this thing, and we're just like saying like, all right, well, it seems like it's stuck here, and we're like looking underneath the car, and it's always like one like stupid 8mm bolt. And I remember on this car when I was taking the dash apart, and the dash is this giant carbon piece, and I like on video, you see me just like wrenching this thing. I'm like, it's stuck on something. I think it's the steering column, but I took the bolt out and it should be good to go. And it was like one tiny 8mm bolt that I forgot. And I went underneath. I go, oh, okay. Click, 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 click. And then it just comes right out. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my, it's one of those like, well, there's your problem. But like I swear I looked under 10 times to look at this, and it was just like staring me in the face. And I'm like, oh, that would explain it. So there's plenty of those examples everywhere in cars. And like, I don't know, when I was working on a Bentley Continental GT, I bought one of those cars for like 11 grand because it needed everything, needed basically an engine out. And those cars, you need, there's these vacuum hoses that are on top of the engine. The only way you get to those vacuum hoses, and they do crack, that's why you need to get to them. The only way to get to them is to take out the entire engine. And that is essentially like a freaking Bugatti Veyron, where, you have 12 cylinders and 2 turbos, and it's all-wheel drive, and it's a giant power unit they have to bring down, and everything has to be disconnected. You have to take down the steering and the suspension and all that stuff, and just to get to these little like 70-cent hoses.